Cats fans, welcome to Postgame Live after the Geelong Football Club suffered a 10-point loss to the Brisbane Lions in the preliminary final of 2024. An absolutely devastating loss for the Cats. We thought we had that one, not in the bag, but we were feeling pretty good about ourselves heading into halftime. 7-goal quarter or whatever it was. Goals kicked from here, there, and everywhere. It was party time at the MCG in front of 93,000 people. I do want to start the show really quickly just because I'm devastated. I am. I'm emotional. I'm going to try to make tonight as positive as I can. But I do want to start and just, I said it on a show I did the other day, I recorded. I just want to send some thoughts out to Stephen King, his family, his 4 kids, the assistant coaches, the head coach at the Cats, all the players, all the staff at the club, all his family. In times like this, you're devastated that your team's lost. But the most important thing is the health and well-being of our friends and family. So bear that in mind, Cats fans, when you come on tonight. I do have JB from the Brisbane Lion Fancast coming on as well. He's sitting there waiting in the green room at the moment, so I'll get him on soonish. But thank you for joining us, and thank you for if you've been waiting a little while in the chat. How you going? Thank you for waiting. I've been driving back with the family from the MCG. It's taken a little while to get back. Of course, the mental giants that do the roadworks with 90,000 people trying to get back to Geelong. Clever, very lots of clever people. But yes, it took us a little bit longer. We're here. That hurts. That really hurts, Cats fans. I'm sure you're hurting as well. I'm sure there's a part of you that's proud of the way this football club presented, fronted up in 2024. A lot of us, a lot of the media, a lot of the AFL world wrote us off pretty hard too. No one had us in the finals, let alone being 20 points up or 20-odd points up in a preliminary final with the grand one hand on the Premiership Cup. It looked like that, didn't it? So I'm really proud of the football club. I'm devastated about the result tonight. I'm all mixed emotions. I'm sad. I'm a little bit angry at certain things. I'm trying to be quite understanding that it's a bloody hard game. And I'm sitting up there from my bird's eye view on the 4th level watching things play out, thinking, oh, this is easy. Why don't you just kick it there, run there? And much, much harder at ground level. If you ever sit on the front, sit down the front on first or second, third row on ground level, you realise how hard it is to sort of scan the ground and see where the space is. It's very difficult. But I'm sure the coaches, the players, everyone's upset. I hope, well, if there are any players or any coaches watching this, whether it's live or watching it later on, it won't be live, but if you are watching this, trigger warning. I probably wouldn't if I was you. There's probably going to be some fans that'll come on and come on with a bit of fire tonight, as is the way it can be sometimes after a tough loss. We did kick ourselves out of that game at times, especially in the first quarter. There was some moments there I wish we had again. We were well on top in all facets of the game early, just couldn't kick straight. Second quarter rolled around and we were just on top of the world. Third quarter, kick it to Brisbane players. See a Brisbane player, kick it to him. Yep, that's what we were doing. It's more complicated than that, but goodness me, just some poor decision making across the board. Really, some bad disposals, and Brisbane, to their credit, good football club. Hopefully, a bit of a redemption story for them. You could say the same thing about Sydney as well. If any Sydney fans watching, all the best to both the teams in the grand final next week. I'll be looking on a little bit of what if in my mind, in my heart, wishing it could have been us. Also sitting back knowing and appreciating the fact that this football club's given us so much success and so much joy and happiness over since 2004, really, so 20 years, pretty much since we lost to Brisbane in that prelim of 2004. So Yeah, so it's been a good ride. It's definitely not over yet. I think if anyone comes out next year and says the Cats aren't making the finals again, you're kidding yourself. But anyway, we've got a full board of callers. Thank you again for coming on. Quick shout out for the show sponsor before I get our first guest on, Cyril Cook, florist down in Breakwater in Geelong. Mention the Hoops crew. Get yourself a 20% discount on in-store purchases. So they've jumped on board with us towards the end of the AFL season, heading into seeing us out through to the AFLW season. So we really appreciate them. I'd be a bit more enthusiastic about it, but we've come off a loss. So, but yeah, look, they've jumped. I really appreciate them, and they've jumped on board with us for the full 2025 as well. So, so that feels great, and thank you to all our subscribers. And everything's just gone bonkers lately. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to handle it at the moment. We've just subscribers coming here, there, and everywhere, and we really appreciate it. I know it's just a silly little footy channel, but you can't understand how much it means to us. Myself and Paul and Jake, Sambo and Johnny. We're just a couple of idiots. We're just a few idiots that love talking footy. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I'm gonna let the opposition come on first. JB, give us a wave if you're there. Here he is. All right. Be nice. Be nice to us. Well done.
Oh, mate, I come in peace, and I can see it in your face, and I can hear it in your voice, man. And I would be exactly the same if I were you. And it was a cracking game, and I know that's of little comfort. But just quickly, thank you for putting this on and for having me on. I'm not here to rub salt into the wound. And firstly, shout out to Stephen King and his family. I hope they're all doing all right. And another shout out to Tom Hawkins as well, because that is it for him. And as happy as I am that I won't see him pile on goals on Brisbane again, I said it to you in the pre-game. Honestly, to get that career out of a centre half forward is just ridiculous, unprecedented, and a true legend. And it sucks that he didn't get the chair off or anything, and he didn't make the team. So he certainly deserves that. And I know the Cats, they'll do something pretty special for him. So just want to give my thoughts out there. And yeah, thanks for having me on. I know it must be tough, and for all the Cats fans, I feel ya.
So you'll have to send us an invoice in the mail for the counselling fees, therapy sessions. But look, let's just take a moment. I know this is a Geelong YouTube show, but we'll try and be gracious in defeat. The Lions were terrific after halftime. They were pretty bad in the first quarter. Let's be honest. They finished the first quarter pretty well. Second quarter was pretty much all about Geelong, and I couldn't believe what was going on. Your boys must have just been thinking, what is happening? These Geelong guys are kicking them from everywhere. When they couldn't hit the side of a barn in the first quarter, now they're just, what is going on? And then you came at it after halftime, and you should be really proud of the way Brisbane Lions players performed in that second half and challenged again very late. Cats hit the front, but you found a way, and then you put us to bed. We should have done the little night sort of thing after that second goal. Anyway.
Oh, look, yeah, bloody Brian Myers. Where has he pulled that sort of gear from? That was ridiculous. He was probably one of your best on. I thought Zach Guthrie was really good across the night as well. Tom Stewart, we didn't seem to have an answer for. And I think it's no coincidence that as soon as Max Holmes went down for that 15-minute period to get treatment, that's when, because he was probably one of, if not your best on in the first half, and then he went down to get that hamstring absolutely rubbed silly. That's when we sort of took ascendancy, and then he went off. And even though Oscar McInerney was out there with one wing, we managed to get a little bit of tempo going our way, and just some just big moments. There was a few players that really stood out, but just players with their moments. Kyle Lohman had a few good moments across the night, and Rayner obviously at the end there as well. But Archie took his moments. I thought Starcevic had a good game. Payne and Harris down back when it mattered, but it was just a cracking game. I thought Geelong were really good across the night, and it was anyone's game.
Yeah, look, I think I was walking back from the stadium to our car park and thinking, if I was a neutral supporter, I reckon there's about 20 highlights from this game. And it was a final, and there was a lot of mistakes as well. But goodness me, were there a lot of highlights in this game? It is hard to take at the moment.
Of course,
as fans that love our own teams, we sort of get frustrated when we make mistakes, and we maybe don't give the other team enough credit when they do some good things, but you took some fantastic marks and some absolute hurlers when you really needed to kick a goal in the last quarter. You missed a couple of sitters as well. I couldn't believe it.
That's
They're
Brisbane
they're
way.
keeping us in this one, but then you're kicking them from how many goals from 50 did you kick tonight? You couldn't miss. You couldn't miss in the fourth quarter. We couldn't kick straight. 2 goals, 5 in the fourth quarter, and 4 points to start the game as well. So a bit wasteful at the bookends for us.
Yeah, I think in the first half, especially, that sort of kept us in it because normally that's our bag and we certainly had our fair share of missing some easy goals. Zach Bailey had a couple of moments he'd rather forget, and when he got pinged for holding the ball in the last quarter, I thought surely that's it because it went back, and obviously Ollie Henry put you guys in front by the point. But I think if we didn't do what we did last week, we probably would have curled our toes up. There's just a lot of PTSD from Geelong and prelim finals that I think getting the win last week in such extraordinary circumstances, I think that gave the guys a lot of belief, and obviously hurting from last year's grand final loss, there's plenty of motivation there. And I mean, hopefully we can carry on to next week. But yeah, I think we've just been playing off a lot of belief and emotion the last couple of weeks.
It's going to be a tough one. Look, I think most people and will probably have the Swans as favourites. I think you'll see that pretty much across the board. Yeah, there'll be some Lions fans and Lions people that will have you guys as back yourself in, and so you should. But yeah, if you guys can take the premiership out this year, it'd be incredible, especially after the redemption story. But coming from 5th position on the ladder, playing 4 finals, how many times have you travelled interstate so far? Got to go back to Brisbane and then come back again in a few days' time and do all that sort of stuff for grand final day and the parade and all that. So it'll be a tremendous effort if you can get it done. I know there'll be a lot of Cats supporters probably wanting you to do well, but I reckon it'll be a bit split down the middle too. I reckon there'll be a lot of Cats supporters hoping Sydney get it done. So, and I'll tell you what, the AFL's probably pretty happy with this matchup. First time in 100 and something years that the old Fitzroy and the old South Melbourne have played each other in a grand final, and the 2 northern states, big middle finger to the NRL and rugby union or whatever they're called up there. But the northern states, goodness me, free kick to the AFL. How's that?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, and that's you touched on it there. We've especially tonight and last week, they have been hard fought, gritty wins, and you could see we looked tired and sore throughout periods of the match today. And Sydney had basically a training run on Friday, and they haven't had to leave Sydney for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So they've definitely had the easier lead in, and they're playing some pretty bloody good footy as well. So it's going to be another tough, hard-fought contest next week, and I'm not looking forward to it. I had to do a mad scramble tonight to book some flights. As soon as Rayner put through that goal, I got on Webjet and tried to get what I could for next week. But yeah, a great prelim, and I know the semi-final in 21 where the Bulldogs got us by a point, and then last year when we lost the grand final, I had so many people say, "Oh, what a great game! Like best grand final, best semi-final." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm sure it was, but I'm not going to watch it back."
No, it's going to be. I think that'll be. If you've got KO, we cancelled our KO a few weeks ago because everything's on free to air at the moment. But I'll get it back in a few more months' time when the NBA starts. But I will watch it back. I'll watch it on the my phone if the AFL.com website lets us watch replays of quarter by quarter. I will go back to it. There's some moments there. There's some really frustrating moments that I want to just check again. The Charlie Cameron mark in the car park. That was one I want to come back to. Oh God. Oh, anyway, I'm going to let you go, mate. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm sure people that want to hear some Cats, people want to have a bit of a whinge and
of course,
and drown their sorrows a little bit and mourn somewhat. But seriously, all the best for you and your team for next week. I hope you can get up there and see it, and hope you have a win. It'll be great for 20 years since your last one. You're probably due. Sydney won theirs only 12 years ago, so stuff them. I think I'll be going on. I think I'll be supporting Brisbane in this one. I love Charlie Cameron. I love Hugh McCluggage, as you know. I want some success for those guys.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. And thanks for having me on across the year. And I have no doubt you guys will be right back up there again next year.
100%. Let's hope so. All right. You take care, mate.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
All right. Johnny Roberts, straight from the wedding of the century. Here he is. Have I got him? No. Oh, there he is. Hang on. There he is.
I am, at a wedding, but I was watching the game in the side of my pocket, and I think I'm glad the way you introed the show, because that is exactly how I feel. And I think the perfect word is devastated. And I also think that a lot of people who watch football would probably say that devastated is like, for a Cats fan, like we're always in the prelim, we're always there. But I think that we know that it's like, it's not easy to get there. It's not just a given. And, even though we've been there, 13 of the last 15 years or whatever it is, to get to the grand final and win, it just does not come by very often. And so, I'll probably do some sort of like post-game, post-season analysis of this, but I thought it was just two very good teams gutting it out. And devastated is the right word.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to cop. I mean, if it's a regular season game, you get grumpy and then you bounce back and you have a win the next week or the week after that.
Yeah.
And it's all forgotten about. How quickly we've moved on from that Gold Coast loss to 3 months. After that, I thought, I'm never going to get over this. And you do.
We talked about it. Yeah, we talked about that.
You move on. Yeah.
For me, the turning point was really in the last 2 minutes of the game, we were up by 1 point with 2 minutes to go, 2 and a bit minutes to go. That Cam Rayner mark in the middle of like the forward 50 square, it was like one of those just very gritty marks that needed to happen for them to win that game. They ended up kicking 2 goals after that. It was sort of like, I wish that we had someone who, like, I feel like if we just spoil that ball with 2 minutes to go, we would have made it.
I think a couple of moments here, there, and everywhere, it would have just made the difference. But
there's a lot of what ifs. The other thing I want to say though is it's not easy for a team to go from the year before sitting 9th or 10th or outside the 8 to make the grand final the next year. Like that basically never happens. So, and that's what we did.
Somehow found a way. Is there any chance we'll get the bride and groom to photobomb while we're having a chat? Or
the party is happening inside.
Oh,
they're all having fun. I promised them I wouldn't spend too much time watching the game. I'm gonna have to actually go back and watch it in detail tomorrow. But I had to just give a little bit of like kudos to Brisbane. And, to be honest, if it was any team, I'm happy that it's Brisbane. With what JD was saying before, I'm glad that we had JD on the show. I love when we have other teams on, like when we had the guy from Port Adelaide, when we beat them. It was nice to talk about them as well. And it's just, I think you summarized it perfectly on the intro. Devastated is the perfect word for this.
What's the wine like there tonight? Before I let you go, when are you?
We're nice. I'm up in Castlemaine at the moment. We're at a nice winery up here. It's a nice scene and good friends and.
Well, hopefully
good company.
Hopefully you'll be able to drown your sorrow. Any other Geelong supporters there that are devastated with you at the moment that you can?
No, unfortunately, I'm surrounded by Hawthorn and Richmond.
And
the guy, I was making the joke that the guy whose wedding it is, he's an Essendon supporter, so no wonder he had a wedding in September because he's never needs to worry about September. It's never been a thought for him. So,
second week of finals doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm glad to join. Well, I would love to do some sort of like post-season recap eventually, and we'll talk about that. But just wanted to give a little bit of that for now.
Let's do it, 100%. Well, enjoy the night. Do the Macarena, do the bus stop, and Nutbush and all that, and we'll hear about it in a few days' time.
Beautiful. All right. Enjoy.
Yeah. All right. Before I jump, I'm going to get Kiri on next, but before I get Kiri on, I just want to see who's in the chat here. Brennan and Bianca walking out of the MCG onto the bridge. Bianca told everyone we just needed Aisling Maloney in our forward line, and we would have won 100%. 3 or 4 goals today in the AFLW actually made me smile. Yeah, kids have got a way of doing that, don't they? Jezza really should have slotted here. He's no excuse, such a seasoned player. There's gonna be some frustrated comments about some players out there. I'm just choosing a few randomly. Here we go. Some compliments to Brisbane. Well done to Brisbane. From a Cats fan in Brisbane, you played well and your experience and talent really won out. I'll get through some more comments as we go, but Kerry's been waiting patiently. So from South Australia, watching on the telly, Bruce McAvaney's dulcet tones. Here he is. Welcome.
G'day, Ben. Like you and many other Cat supporters, just absolutely shattered. Have to give credit where credit's due. Brisbane were the better side. They absolutely deserved to be in the grand final, but yeah, we're going to be dwelling all summer, Ben. Another prelim loss. What could have been? Grand final week going to come, and grand final day, we're all going to be saying, this could have been us. This could have been us. And yeah, I'm shattered, Ben. That's all I could say, really. Yeah. Oh, I don't know, man.
Where did it go wrong? Where did it go wrong tonight?
I think, early in the game, missing those goals. I think it was like 4 or 5 behind. So I was thinking, oh gee, we could be up by 4 or 5 goals by now. We were over the top with Brisbane. The pressure was on point. Leading with all the stats, and Brisbane kicked a couple of goals through dodgy umpiring, but that's another day, really. But half time, then we got going. I thought, oh, okay, we'll get the momentum going, up by about 20-ish points at half time. But I had this gut feeling in my mind, Ben, thinking Brisbane could probably pinch this back a little bit. I just had this gut feeling, is it going to be like a repeat of the Richmond prelim in 2019? And unfortunately, my worst fears were confirmed. They just kept coming and coming and coming. When we tried to get in our inside 50, there was always a Brisbane player cutting it off and stuff like that. And full credit to the players. We had the chance. Like Ollie Henry nearly won the game off of his bloody boot. But Cam Rayner, how do you allow a play? No disrespect to him, but how do you allow Cam Rayner and Kai Lohman to have absolute legacy games? And where was our superstars of our side? Jeremy Cameron. Where was he, mate? We've been saying, throughout the whole year. Some one first half he just looked like $1 million, and in the second, just missing in action and doing it in the final. No excuses, mate. As I said before, best forward in the comp. Bloody play like it, man. But so many things went wrong. Like Tom Stewart, he should have been in the midfield, man. When Brisbane were taking us to the cleaners with their midfield. Get him in there. Max Holmes, make a decision. Had a hamstring issue. Make the decision, Scotty. Are you going to play him or not? And that just changed the momentum of the game as well, which Brisbane took advantage of. But yeah, a lot of things just went horribly wrong, Ben. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that was going wrong. The tricky situation, I'll politely say it that way, with Holmes, and unsure how bad that hamstring was, whether it was just sort of cramping or whatever it was, but they took forever to look at it, and so they were basically down an interchange player for 3/4 of that third quarter. And that was pretty much where things really started to fall apart in a bad way. And that was just the shock for me. It was just that from the second quarter to the third quarter, it's probably Geelong's season, really. The way in the space of 2 quarters, really, like the amazing sort of 7 goals, 7 wins to start the season, and then what happened? And then the middle part. And then the Cats come steaming back to hit the front at the end of the home and away season, hit the front in this game. And then, the last little bit is basically the season and the game all wrapped up into one. Just not quite good enough. And, you can blame it on some players that were a bit down, that maybe didn't have their best games ever. There was definitely some players that had some amazing moments, but some of those players also had some shocking moments as well.
Yeah,
So I'm a little bit torn at the moment. Like, I know Danger had a great game, but he's dropping marks on the wing, and Brian Myers is kicking goals out of his ass, and then he's doing other things. I'm like, what are you doing, Brian? But just say third quarter, it'll just burn in my memory. And I don't want to. I've named a couple of players, but they're big enough they can take it. Senior players, they have to lead from the front. But I won't pot anyone else. But just the general sort of the amount of turnovers on that half forward line, everything was getting picked off, and it wasn't winning contested footy. It wasn't the Lions defenders winning one-on-ones. It was us just. I couldn't believe it. It felt like the Alir nightmare from a few years ago.
Yes, it felt like that.
How many times can you?
Every time. It
felt
like they built it. It just felt like they built a fucking brick wall every time we were going in our inside 50. It was just frustrating to watch, and it's just like, try something different, for crying out loud. It's enough with these high balls. Try the low penetration kicks. Do what we did against Port Adelaide in the qualifying final. Just try something different. Don't stick with the same sort of thing if it ain't working out, man. And that's what's going to get me too, when I'm probably going to watch the replay in a couple of days time as well. So because I'm still feeling raw from this. I don't think I'm going to touch this game for a few days, if I'm being completely honest.
I'm definitely going to touch it again, because there's some moments I just want to see. Did I see that correctly? Am I an absolute one-eyed Geelong supporter, or did that umpire absolutely take a bag of cash from the AFL? There were some moments in that game tonight where I was like, what is going on? What is happening? I could not believe it. And when I said before, sorry, I might have cut you off, but I was starting to say I'm angry. No, I was starting to say I'm angry. Look, I'm upset, but I would say it's pretty accurate. I'd be fairly confident in saying the players are upset with themselves too. They're angry with themselves as well. They're shattered, as you said. How you're feeling, how we all feel, is probably how they feel. If Brian Myers is my younger brother, I'd feel devastated for the young fella, as his family and his friends do, and all the other teammates do, and all the other players that didn't get to run out today. It sucks. Doesn't mean you can't be frustrated by it. Doesn't mean you can't. There's some moments that you're just going, oh. A couple of times I was like Hulk mode, like, ah! And I was like, no, I've got my young daughter next to me there, and I got my slightly older daughter on the other side, and my stepson a little bit further on. I'm like, just contain it, mate. You just got to contain yourself. Mm-hmm. It's a family event today. But, footy's an emotional game, isn't it, Kieran?
It is, and it gets the better of me as well. I'm yelling the bloody living. I was going absolutely bonkers when Ollie Henry kicked that winning goal, and but then you just get instantly crushed. A minute later, and you're spot on with that analogy as well, Ben. That game just pretty much summed up Geelong's season in 2024. Our best, that second quarter showed our best footy, capable of beating anyone, any side in the competition, and then that third, it's just absolutely ugly, absolutely ugly. And but I'll tell you what, Ben. I'll take this. Yes, we didn't make the grand final, but I'm a half glass full sort of person. You're just going to take it like I said we weren't going to make top four this year. The pass mark for me, for where I wanted for Geelong this year, was to make the finals, and we did that. Considering where we were 12 months ago, in 2023, where we missed out the finals at all, and we made a prelim. To me, that exceeded my expectations as well. And it feels different. It does feel different as well. Obviously, the changing of the guard. obviously Tom Hawkins, Zach Tui, a lot of these guys on their way out, but it is a changing of the guard with the youngsters in Ollie Dempsey, Lawson Humphreys, Shannon Neal, all those blokes. You know, get excited. You know, getting Bailey Smith to the category next year as well. You know, there's
Right.
get keen. You know, because we will be back. We will.
We'll definitely be back. They can't get rid of us as much as they'd like to. It's not going to happen. Unfortunately, we're here for the long haul. Yeah, like this is a tough loss. Can I just take a moment though while I've got you? And I probably won't say this to every single guest that comes on. I didn't say it to a few of the others that came on, but just you and everyone really that's been a part of this post game live show since the start of the year. Can I just really say thank you from the bottom of my heart? This has like been a fantastic community that we've built, and I really appreciate you giving up your time and good or bad, you know, after a loss, after a win, the conversations well thought out. There's a bit of passion there as well. Emotions are important. We'll feel it. I think I totally understand that Chris Scott will do a presser, and I listened to it on the way home, and he'll be very measured, and he won't sort of give too much of how he's really feeling away. And I think this is probably that space for Cats fans to do that. Hopefully, we still maintain a respectful conversation, and we don't pot players too hard. We can express our frustrations, and we can be angry, but as long as we don't make it too personal, I suppose. But no, getting back to my point, thank you to you and to everyone else. I really do appreciate it. I'm indulging a little bit here, but it's made this sort of space a really happy one for me. And I'm just glad that other Cat supporters are starting to sort of jump on and join this community. So thank you.
No, absolutely, Ben, and likewise as well, mates. I've had so much fun being on this, being on the post game live show. You know, ever since the practice game against Essendon, I thought I'd just come on for a bit of a laugh, having no idea what I'm bloody talking about. That's why I'm not hired at SEN or anything like that. But it's just become a weekly ritual for me. Win, lose or draw, and you know, talking about on the wins has been great. But yeah, the losses are tough, but it's been a healing space as well. And you know, it's just been absolute pleasure, and also like the Geelong Twitter community as well. You know, being a lone Geelong supporter here, interstate, it's great. It's great to know there's a community out there that I could talk to that share the same passion of the Geelong Football Club as well. So, but yeah, thank you, Ben, and to all the people that I've met along the way as well. And yeah, no, looking forward to the AFLW season with the Catters the rest of the year and into 2025. But yeah, and thanks for listening to my waffling along and all of that too. And yeah,
One of my favorite
I've had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun.
One of my favourite moments with you is I think you must have been catching the train back from a game in South Australia, and you're holding the phone up. A couple of Geelong supporters were on the train and all that sort of stuff. So that was a bit of fun. I had a good chuckle at that one. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was good fun. That was after the gathering event. So yeah, definitely more with that as well. And yeah, but no, it's been awesome, Ben. You know, keep up the great work, you and the Hoops crew as well. And yeah, we'll see you in 2025.
We definitely will. We're not done yet, as you said. We've got the AFLW, but we've also got a heap of stuff over the next 7 days at least. And then we've got our Brownlow equivalent, the Hoopies Awards on in about on the 30th, in about 8 or 9 days' time. So we've got to do our votes from tonight. That'll be the last. Sadly, that's the last lot of votes that we'll be casting tonight. I know this is going to be a tough one, but I will ask you for your 3, 2, 1s tonight before you go. It's going to be tricky because we're still full of emotions at the moment.
This one I'm gonna have to improvise, but so I think 3 votes I'm gonna have to give Ollie Henry based on because he nearly won the game off of his own boot. 2 votes I'll give to Paddy Dangerfield. You know, not his best game, but I thought at times he tried. And one vote I will give. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna say my man Lawson Humphries. I thought he was good in that fourth quarter, especially as well. You know, when the other players were down, he didn't drop off at all. So he was huge in that fourth quarter. So yeah, Lawson Humphries gets the one for me.
Can I just say something about Lawson Humphries tonight? And that is, in the third quarter, he's running it out from that back pocket. I think he took about 3 bounces, must have run at about 50 meters or something like that.
Yeah.
And then kicks at 50, hits a target. Oh, here we go. The Cats are rolling. Oh, and then we just turned it over.
Yeah. Oh, I was so filthy with that. I
Could,
was like, God,
this was like,
fucking damn it,
this
you
was
know?
going to be an all-time finals highlight that we'll play over and over and over. But no,
Yeah.
wasted it. That was Michael Long-esque. That it was. I was up and about. I was probably blocking the view of people behind me, but I was laughing that Lawson. I couldn't believe it. And then I don't know who it might have been Grind or something that turned it over, but that was hard to watch that because I was like, oh, that is the most beautiful piece of champagne footy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The run and the kick and the confidence. The age of the arrogance of the young fella, 21 years old or 22 if he's had a birthday recently, but wow, what a tremendous player.
He's awesome.
Lots more years of him, hopefully.
100%. He's gonna be a one club player. Don't you worry, mate.
I hope so. I hope so. If he can go back to WA or something like that, give you a start and then they leave. But look, it's going to be a time of change for the Cats. There's some players out the door. There might be 1 or 2 that we don't know about yet, but it's probably another good opportunity to say farewell to Tom Hawkins.
Farewell, Tommy. I've got my Tom Hawkins bobblehead somewhere.
I'll get mine. Hang
It's
on.
right here. He's the reason why I follow the Geelong Footy Club, mate. You know, absolute champion.
There you go.
Thank you for everything, Tommy. You know, look, not the send off we hope, but you know, it is what it is. You know, just smile because it happened. Like, you know, what a career it's been, and also to Zach Tui as well. You know, fantastic servants of the club. You know, forever grateful.
Yeah, mate. I'm gonna take a couple of minutes before I get Ethan to come on, and I just want to play. I don't know if you saw the song that I dropped. Would have been about 9:30 tonight. I did a farewell.
I think I did.
I had a little Hawkins video lined up, ready to go, just in case we lost tonight, and it's a bit of my way of saying farewell. No, I didn't sing the song. I didn't sing it. I used an AI app, but it still got me in the feels. Yeah. It still got me in the feels. So I'll give it a run, and I'll compose myself, and then I'll come back and we'll get Ethan on in just a moment. So, mate, thank you again. Stay in touch. We've got some more stuff coming next week. The footy goes on. We love footy. We love AFL. Our team can't always win, but it's good to talk to people like yourself, mate.
Pleasure as always, Ben. Take care, mate.
You too, buddy. Take care. All right. Let's see what we've got here. All right. I've got a couple of people in the chat. I've got Ethan. I can say Brendan's popped in as well. I've got Lucas there too. I have posted the link in the chat if anyone wants to jump on and have a chat. It might. We'll go for as long as I need to tonight. If people want to talk about the game, that's fine. We'll talk as long as we need to. But as I said, before we get Ethan on, I just want my little tribute for Tom Hawkins. I'll cue this up now. It's a little bit sad. I get a bit sad about this one.
At the home of the Cats, we cheered from the stands. Our big full. At the home of the Cats, we cheered from the stands. Our big full forward who loved his Tim Tams. Selfless and kind, the heart of the team. One of the greatest the game has seen. Through all of the highs and very few lows, you gave us your all, you put on a show. Have fun with the kids, spend time with your wife. A new chapter starts, the rest of your life. They'll remember your deeds and remember your name as you bid farewell to this glorious game. The roar of the crowd, the cheers and the screams, you'll always be part of this Geelong team. For years you were fierce, but played with a grin. You always stood tall when we needed a win. With every contest and every play, you lit up the stage in your own special way. You gave us 3 flags and nearly had 4. Now you are leaving, walking out those doors. Through all of the highs and very few lows, you gave us your all, you put on a show. Have fun with the kids, spend time with your wife. A new chapter starts, the rest of your life. They'll remember your deeds and remember your name as you bid farewell to this glorious game. The roar of the crowd, the cheers and the screams, you'll always be part of this Geelong team. For years you were fierce, but played with a grin. You always stood tall when we needed a win. With every contest and every play, you lit up the stage in your own special way. You gave us 3 flags and nearly had 4. Now you are leaving, walking out those doors. Through all of the highs and very few lows, you gave us your all, you put on a show. Have fun with the kids, spend time with your wife. A new chapter starts, the rest of your life.
Hey, can you hear me? Their audio cut out here. You guys got me?
Sorry, I was on mute. How you feeling? Welcome.
Hey, honestly, I'm all right. Brought back the bathrobe because I did that earlier in the year and it got some good reviews, and I thought might well go out with a banger. You know, frustrating game certainly, and it'll be irritating because it feels like it was there for the taking. And I had this feeling in the back of my head, you know, the minor premiers have won the last 3 flags. It's time for someone else to step up. But really, after watching Sydney last night, it does still feel like their year. And if you told me big picture, this is where we'd be, I'd be pretty satisfied. I mean, there are only 2 teams that can come away more satisfied than what we did this year. And of the other teams that made finals, the only one that I could possibly see with a similar level of satisfaction to us would be Hawthorn. And we beat them twice. You know, just first off, a lot of credit to Brisbane. My concern was that Lachie Neale was going to just kill us, and he had 12 clearances, but I didn't think he was great. I thought Cam Rayner was outstanding, which frankly continues his form from like the last quarter of the home and away season. The way he kind of bridges like the midfield and the forward half, it's a little bit like Horn Francis, and you know, we didn't let him hurt us, and he might have been playing banged up, but Rayner certainly got us, which, you know, you didn't get beat by Dunkley, didn't get beat by McCluggage that much. Neale, probably one of his better games against us, but nothing crazy. But all credit to Rayner. And I know he had the moment where he got chased down and a miss or 2, but I thought Zach Bailey, that was his best game of the year. And, you know, if you're losing because of guys like that, and then right after Ollie's goal gives us the lead, you know, Noah Answorth gets a clearance. You know, you shut down the big pieces, but Noah Answorth gets one. You know, you kind of just got to hand it to him.
Yeah. Good. I mean, there's a lot of big game players for the Brisbane Lions. It's why they probably belong on the big stage. In the last day in September, they're built for it, really. It can be a frustrating team to follow if you do follow them, because they'll just disappear sometimes, and you'll be like, "What's going on here?" But a bit like Geelong at times as well, I guess. But they're such a powerful side. That when they want to just explode, or when they're ready to, they just go nuts, and they're really hard to contain. And blokes like Rayner, who can be invisible sometimes, but tonight he decided to play. And Zach Bailey's a big game player. We've seen that in the grand final last year. I think he missed an easy one tonight, but overall he was really good.
He was very good.
Joe Watson, not Joe Watson. What's his name? Joe Danaher. Had to go into the ruck at one point, and he didn't probably didn't beat Stanley, but did enough, and the Lions somehow found a way with their injury to their ruckman, Oscar McInerney.
Every time the ball came to Archie, he was impactful. My frustrations, more than anything, are that we kept trying to beat their defense in the air, and that just clearly wasn't working. And that was obvious for a while, and I don't get why we kept trying to bomb it in, because up until the last few minutes of the game, we didn't have any forward 50 marks. Our goals there were, if someone was waiting out the back and it would get through or bounce off someone's hands, whether that was Andrews or Starcevic. By the way, Starcevic, excellent player who's just been on a roll since, similar to Rayner, probably the last quarter of the home and away season. But I was frustrated that we kept bombing it in there, especially when you look at how we scored in the second quarter. Yeah, there were a couple where we crumbed off of that, but it was also a lot of just getting down at ground level, getting Brad Close more involved. And then, I've said how many times when we get Brad Close involved, we win. And I don't think we did enough to force the issue there in the second half necessarily. What I do feel good about, not just big picture, knowing that there were moments where I thought Lawson Humphreys was solid. There were a couple of moments where things looked a little fast for him at times. The pressure seemed to be, it was a very high pressure game, obviously. But I don't doubt him at all moving forward. I'm not concerned about that. Ollie Dempsey got into the game after a slow start. Really, Jack Bowes was quiet, but he was so good in the Port game that I'll give him a bit of a pass. And Tanner Bruhn, look, he didn't have a very good game. I think K-Rock said he was playing through something, and I'm so unconcerned about his future that I think he's going to evolve just fine, and he will have his moments in big games, and he will win premierships with this team, ideally multiple. So it feels bad. Feels bad to see the players look so deflated, especially Mitch Duncan, who unfortunately didn't have a very good game, and you wonder if that was it for him. And I think it's fair to ask if he was the right sub role.
Came on at three-quarter time, something like that.
Couple moments into the fourth after Holmes got away from used the last bit of what he had in him to get away from Kai Lohman and booted one deep, but he came right off after that, and that was it. And obviously Max's injury was huge because he had been playing very well. And, feel bad for Danger because he was really leading from the middle, which he caught some criticism last year for not doing that. And there were so many times in both these finals where he would just go straight in and say, I'm getting this center clearance and nobody can stop me. And he just went out and did it. So, it feels bad because he deserved better. Tom Stewart deserved better. He did everything you could have asked of him, really.
You did. Well, they did, really. And Dangerfield, he played 76% of game time, so he was out there enough. It's probably what you expect from Danger at his age. A little bit more than what he would normally play, I guess. Max Holmes, at the end of the day, only played half the game, 53% of the game time, and was on that. Was on the bench for pretty much most of the third quarter and a minute or so into the fourth. So we only had him, and that's really where the game was lost, wasn't it? I mean, one player coming off shouldn't make a difference. Clearly, Brisbane will say, well, we lost our ruckman. He's pretty important to us. So, but yeah, Holmes was playing great. He's probably best on ground, close to it at least anyway in that first half. that was a real gut punch to lose him at that point.
Yeah, and to the Lions' credit, they lost McInerney the first time we played them too, and they really had no solutions off of that. And I think they came up with better solutions tonight. Just kind of like, there were a couple of games where I think with Blitzovs and DeConing, our ruck strategy was kind of just like crash into the guy, not let him take it out. And I saw they did a little of that. And there were also times when Danaher was just waiting and hoping, like, I'm not going to hit this out. I'm just going to catch it. And we didn't do as much to recreate that first meeting, because the first time we played them, if you recall, Tyson Stengel was phenomenal in conditions where nobody else could get a clean handle on the ball. And I don't know how much of it is him and how much of it was the team not utilizing him enough, but this was honestly the first poor performance he's had in a final, which, he's played 5 of them. He's won 4 of them.
Yeah.
We can, it's not going to tarnish my opinion of him at all, but it was not his highest impact game. It would have been nice to get some more out of him.
What it says to me about Tyson Stengel is that we expect so much from him.
Mm-hmm.
I expected him to be, well, no, not the match winner, but one of our better players. And the fact that he probably wasn't in the best half, I'd say. Maybe that's not fair, but I'm assuming a lot of people will agree with me that he didn't have a good game. I don't think he was terrible, but he didn't have a good game. And I think we needed him, and we needed Jezza to really stand up. Paddy did his best. Paddy made mistakes as well. Max Holmes going off didn't help. The Tui didn't play. It was a bit of a gamble. Mullen probably did what we expected Mullen, really.
I thought there were a couple of moments from O'Sheen. He had this play to set up one of our goals where ball was bouncing off of a ruck contest, and he just slapped it as far as he could ahead to close, and it started to break out. And it was like this moment of there's the instincts. That's what we want out of him. I just would have liked to maybe use him in more of a tagging role. I don't think we did enough of that. We did a lot of it against Port, and I would have liked to see him either on Neil during a couple stretches, because, again, wasn't Neil's best game, but 12 clearances still. Probably the best game he's ever played against us. He's never gotten a Brownlow vote against us. He's gotten at least 5 against every other team. I checked the tables. And then when Rayner heated up, who I think he's my favorite player on that Brisbane team. I really like him. I like Ashcroft a lot too, but I've just been a big fan of Rayner. I think because, 2020, he had a pretty good year, and then he had the injury, and just easy guy to pull for. I would have liked us to do more to stop him, but if he's getting some, and if Logan Morris is kicking 2 goals, it's we took care of most of the guys that you were worried about, and some of their depth players stepped up. And if my biggest negative takeaway is that our 22-year-old midfielder with such a bright future only had 10 touches and really faded in the second half, can live with that.
Yeah. We'll have to live with a lot of pain from tonight for the next few months. And the sad thing about watching footy and being a football supporter is when you lose a final, you've got to live with it for not only 5 months, but you've got to ride that roller coaster for the next 5 months into the season also, until you come around to finals again, and you never know what's going to happen. And we could be back here again and get our hearts broken all over again, like 7 other teams do every year in finals. This is a hard one because it was so close, and because we felt like we were for the better team for the most part. We led for more of the game than what Brisbane did, and we hit the front late. You just felt like, the Geelong story, it's playing out again. We're going to somehow find a way.
Kind of like, if I thought it would be a little like, Richmond in 2020, where it's they weren't the best team all year, but you knew they were going to be there. And it felt like we had some moments of that, but it took a really good effort to take us down. I will say there are a couple of misses that I will think back at. So the expected score, which it just credits, what's the expected point value out of each shot. So it's an imperfect science, but it had us winning by about 9 or 10. And a lot of people weren't happy with the one thing Sean Manna did wrong is he totally, he validated himself most of the game, but there was one opportunity in the third quarter where he kicked a dribbler instead of just a regular shot, which in that moment didn't hit me as much as like the Stengel dribbler that would have. I think if we get that goal to open the third quarter, I think it's a totally different game. And then the one where I think it was both Stengel and Dempsey had a chance in the goal square to try to poke it home. You know, we also kicked a couple of really difficult goals. So
I'm getting all triggered again now. Some of these opportunities that we had tonight. You just think any one of those. This is it's not. The games go in different directions. All these sliding door moments, but you'd like to think you get one of those 5 or 6 opportunities that were gimmies. Yeah, not so bad.
So, you know, our entries to the forward 50, I wasn't a huge fan of. And then Brisbane took how many tough contested marks? It was just, you know, there was a couple by Rayner, a couple by Lohman, where it's just like, what do? You just say, all right, can't do much about that. Got to make the next play. I think it might also just be easier to stomach because this is a team that I don't really hold anything against. I like the Lions. I don't love them, but I like them.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to win next week, which give them, I don't know, 25% odds, I'd be happy for them, but also think, man, that could have been us. But there's been more painful defeats.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It wasn't fun. There's been more painful. Just trying to look through the stats. You know, we did let them control a fair amount of the uncontested play, which we had done such a good job of 2 weeks earlier. Like the stat that the team on 7 kept hammering home, you know, when they take 100 marks, they don't lose marks for the game. And yeah, we dropped a few, but 111 to 64.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some. I don't know. I'm looking at the stats since I've been on the stream tonight, and I'm like, oh, I don't even really want to look at it because it just, for me, it wasn't the story of the night. It was just some not taking those opportunities when they were there. And it wasn't just shots on goal. It was
first 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
We could have had 3 early goals. Now, credit to Starcevic there for helping to prevent some of that. But we also just,
of course.
We missed a couple that we need to take care of. And, you know,
it was more than scores. It was marks. It was marks we should have taken. That. Oh my God, how have we dropped that? And it's just those little things lead to the ball bouncing back 100 meters down the other direction. And we're just trying to get it out of their forward 50 for the next 10 minutes.
And when you're playing Rose or Richmond or something, you can get away with that. Isn't that fun to say?
Yeah.
Richmond with those teams. But yeah, that's just not going to work against a team of Brisbane's caliber.
No. They're too good. They were just too good. In the end, they played good finals footy. Unfortunately, we probably did at points in time for tonight, but just not long enough.
Yeah.
And you know, the players know that. They know. The coaches know. What can you do?
Yeah. Feel bad for the veterans more than anything. Feel bad for Hawkins because I'm sure there would have been how many guys, if they had won this thing, would have been giving him their medal. Feel bad for Tui. Yep. I really liked him in the sub role last week, and I think, it was a tough decision. I think I would have just had Duncan in and taken Mullen out, and then had Tui as the sub again. I think that's all how I would have done it, but it was a difficult decision, and look, we had at least 26 or 27 guys that you could have considered for those 23 spots. So I'm not going to fault the coaching on that. Just the one real coaching thing that I wasn't a fan of was the way we tried to attack their defenders. Because that's, Harris Andrews gets a ton of love and deservedly so, but Ryan Lester's pretty darn good. Starcevic has been great, and we just kept kicking it on them. And unfortunately, as badly as he played against us last time, Jack Payne had a pretty good game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they played well. They played well. It's hard to say it, but they did. Yeah.
I would have liked to do more to try to exploit their weaknesses. Not that they have many of them, but I think we did a little too much playing into their hands.
Yeah. What can you do? You can't change it now. You got to go back, play another 24 games of football now to change it. And there's no guarantees.
It just sucks, spent 25 of the last 28 weekends watching this team. And I mean, really, the amount of footy you get to watch, it declines as you get into finals. But to not be able to watch this group anymore this year is upsetting, because this was a really fun team. I mean, I think other than, a team that won 16 in a row and won a flag, this is about the most fun season I've had watching this team in a while. There were a couple of losses that, 2.5, 3 hours of my life I would have liked to have back. But for the most part, this was a fun team to watch week in and week out. We got to see the young players that people were banging the drum for get in there. Some of them maybe not quite as fast as we would have liked, but the finished product, I like it. And when you combine that with all the optimism about guys we could bring in, pretty soon a midfield that couldn't cut it today, we're going to have a whole lot of midfielders to choose from. And I think that will address some of the issues that we had in this game.
What time tomorrow morning, Australian time, do you think Bailey Smith announces that he wants to come to Geelong? Because clearly he's been holding out on making an announcement while Geelong's been in the finals, not wanting to distract from Geelong's mission this year. But I think this week we'll probably hear the news that he's keen to come to Geelong, and can we make it happen? And then we probably wait 12 days, 15 days for the negotiations, and eventually happen.
Monday.
Yeah. It'll happen.
And I'm already thinking about this. What number does he get? I think, 6 is Toby Conway's, unless he wants to give it up. I would think
2, 3. Parfitt's probably not there. Yeah. 2 or 3 is probably the one I'd look at. Unless Mullen wants to upsize or jump into Tui's number, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe that would make sense. Give it to the Irish guy.
Yeah. Don't give 26 away anytime soon.
No, I think we hold on to that for a year. I'd say, like we do with the Selwood's number. I think some of those numbers you don't retire them, but you hold on to them for a year. And
well, what I'd like to do, and I'm going to keep yelling for this as long as I can. I want another guy who wears number 26 to come over, and he's already got the hair to fit us, Hayden Young. If he ever wants to come back to Victoria, how great I think he is. So if he ever gets tired of being out in Perth, there's always room.
What number do we have for Harley Reid in a couple of years? What number does he wear? Number 9? You can't have number 9 because Max Holmes has got that.
Yeah, well, at some point, you imagine, maybe 8's available because of Kolajashny, or we haven't had really a high impact 19 in a while, or, Stanley's only got however many more years. So there will be options.
Years? I mean, people in the chat a lot of people in the chat will be saying that's Stanley's last kick. And I felt really, can I just take a moment to talk about that last play? Because when he got that free kick, I thought, oh no, don't put him in this situation because it's not fair. This could be his last. It could be his last game as a Cat, and people are going to blame him for losing the game. Guys, there was like 20 seconds left, whatever.
Look, it would have taken another clearance and something like, the Darcy Byrne-Jones goal that Port got to beat the Hawks. It would have taken a miracle still. Would have been nice for him to hit that. Would have been good for him to have a moment. I hope that that's not the way he and Duncan go out. But if it is, I'll remember them for much more positive things than that, and it'll just be a footnote.
Exactly. I think I'll remember if that is the end for Reece Stanley, and it may not be, but if it is, I'll remember the fact that he got subbed out in a game against Port Adelaide early in the year, and we all thought that was it for him. And credit to him for the way he's bounced back these last 8 weeks. When Toby Conway was done for the year, and Reece, take your hat off, mate. I know we give you a hard time sometimes, and yeah, we know you're not the number 1, number 2, number 3 ruckman in the comp, but we just love what you've done for the club. You'll always be a premiership ruckman, whether you finish up this year or you're going again. And you nearly were in another grand final. So I think, yeah,
he's like for the culture. He's hanging out on a farm with Jeremy Cameron all the time.
Yeah. Are you watch a video or two of Reece Stanley just being Reece Stanley in Reece Stanley's world, away from football, and you think, oh, I love this guy. I love him. He could be anything outside of football if he wants to, or he'll just pot around on the farm. Like, I think he could run the Geelong Football Club one day, potentially. Like, he's just such a strong leader. In terms of football skills, no, he's a bit of a nuff when it comes to footy. His IQ's not always there and all that sort of stuff. But I just think the way he speaks, just the way he carries himself, and I love the guy. And
he's a big goofball. I like.
He's a galoot. He is a galoot, but he's ours. He's our galoot, and we love him. And again, premiership player. I'll keep telling everyone he's a premiership ruckman for the Geelong Football Club. So
every club needs a premier, and he definitely serves that role.
So I didn't want him to take that kick at the end. I just felt, don't make him take the kick. He could barely walk. I don't know if it was a cramp. I think it was a cramp or something he was dealing with. But
we were running on E, and I get the feeling if we had made it to next week, there would have been some carryover effects.
Well, Dangerfield, is he in trouble with the MRO? Does he get suspended?
That shouldn't be any more than a fine. If Rampy's not getting suspended,
we'll see.
I was more concerned with like that knee to the back he took at one point than anything.
Jack Henry laid a big hit on a Brisbane player at one stage. Was it Archie, maybe?
Might have been. Oh, speaking of big hits, there was a free kick that they called against Stewart early in the game that was ridiculous. And then a couple minutes later, Hipwood just clotheslines Jack Henry and there's no call. I don't think the umpiring was that bad, especially in the second half. But in the first half, there were some, and that's the one that stood out to me that I don't think anyone else really noticed. But, like, Hipwood completely clotheslined him.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I could sit here right now for the next hour and blame the umpires for Geelong losing, but
we have more that we could have done where umpires wouldn't have been a factor.
Yeah, exactly right. If you have to rely on the umpires to win a close game, it's your own fault. So I feel like we've probably got the raw end of the stick tonight. Brisbane might not see it the same way. Brisbane fans may not see that the same way. I think there'll be a lot of Geelong fans who'll probably sit back and go, yeah, well, it's a lot of decisions. Again, the Charlie Cameron mark from the car park. That was, or second row, point post. I don't know. I watched that. I was right there. I'm like, oh, come on. That looked like out by a meter, but maybe I'll watch the replay and it'll be, oh, no, it was probably fair. Who knows? Sometimes when you're at the game, you see it differently. And then you watch the replay and you think, okay, I clearly was drawn in by the crowd and the energy, and I was completely one-eyed Geelong the whole way. Maybe the umpires weren't that bad.
Yeah.
If you watched it on, you watched it on the telly, but
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, give me a 3-2-1. I've got a couple other people to get through before I wrap it up. But who was your 3-2-1 for tonight?
3 Stewart, 2 probably Dangerfield. 1 is between Brian and Zach Guthrie, and I think I'll go Zach Guthrie. But Brian giving us one of the best assists and one of his best goals. That was pretty darn good. Last year was.
I want to watch the replay of that. I haven't watched any replays yet. There'll be a few highlights in this game. I reckon the highlight reel will go for about 10 minutes. If it's up on AFL.com yet, I'm not sure if it is, but oh goodness me, that assist was incredible, and then the goal.
Yeah.
Oh, what was going on? And then Ollie Dempsey said, "Hold my beer. I'm going to do it as well." What's going on? I thought that's it. We're in the grand final. I was telling my little daughter, you can taste it. We're there. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have been confident all week. I did put out a video about the footy gods, if you do believe in the footy gods. So maybe I did anger the footy gods this week. Apologies, Cats fans, if you are one of those 50% or 55% of people that believe in the footy gods. Sorry, blame it on me. If you need to point the finger at anyone, blame it on me. Mate, I said it to Kiri. I'll say it to you. Really appreciate you giving up your time. You're in a different time zone to everyone else. It's I don't know what time it is over there at the moment, but
about to be 7 a.m. So college games kick off in 2 hours, but
nice.
Got enough entertainment to get me through the next 5 or so months, and then at some point, whenever the schedules start coming out for next year, I got to start figuring out when I'm going to make my first visit.
Yeah,
because it's happening next season for sure.
Definitely. We need to see you, mate. We'll get to a game together for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy your night. Enjoy your day, I should say. Sorry. And thank you again for coming on. It's a tough one. It's hard to front up after a big loss like a tough loss like this.
Yeah,
but
good to have the community to do it with. I appreciate it a lot.
Exactly. You take care.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, Brendan, have I got you there? You look a bit sad.
Yeah. I'm getting over it now. Yeah, pretty gutted. I keep thinking, like, I wish I could go back to halftime. I literally believed we were going to win the premiership. I thought we had it. I other than the wayward goal kicking, I thought, oh, look at us go. And we're being led by Max Holmes. Like, Max Holmes is just running rings around Brisbane. I'm like, just look at us go. And then just it went downhill from there. Oh, no, we kicked the first goal of the third quarter as well.
We did. Dangerfield. He was all on his own, 15 metres out. We hit him sweetly on the chest, and he ran in and kicked the goal. And
that was Max Holmes as well. Max Holmes got the turnover and kicked it over to him, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But there was the Stengel one that started the quarter that sort of, running into goal and just tried to dribble it, just didn't have the balance or hit the ball at the right angle, and it went over out of bounds. I think so.
Yeah. And then things just went downhill, and we saw something was going on with Max Holmes. Like, we're like, what's going on? Why is he on the bench? What? It hasn't happened again, has it? And I was like, oh no. And then shattering. You don't want to be negative because of where we came from, especially like when we had that during the year when we started losing games and it just looked like the wheels were falling off, and then the way we beat Port Adelaide, I think it just gave us our expectations went a bit too high, almost. Just so frustrating.
That's what happens, isn't it? That's footy in a nutshell too. You win one week, you think you're top of the world, you forget about all the things that you did wrong during the game because you've just got 22, 23 heroes that can do no wrong. But you lose a game by a kick, and all of a sudden they're all villains. Everyone's stuffed up. The umpires conspired against us. The AFL's handing out bags of cash just so Geelong doesn't win, and there's a grand final between New South Wales and Victoria. Stick it up, NRL, all that sort of. It's hard. But
it's hard to also anything because you don't want to be too negative. Like, because I've got thoughts now, but you're scared to say it because it's like, you feel like you're blaming the players. But there's things like, when you start thinking about like the way that it ended. Did we make the right call not playing Hawkins? Just because I just got this feeling of like I feel like Hawkins could have given us what Neil gave us tonight. It's not really, in a way, it's not me bashing Neil, but it's more just, would we rather have lost with Hawkins in the team and had that chance to say goodbye? Like, instead of losing and having him on the sidelines, does that make sense? Like, it's not me bashing Neil. It's more or less like, I think I'd rather have lost and had Hawkins give us what Neil gave us today and had the chance to clap him off and say thank you instead of having him up, in the stands. Does that make?
I understand what you're saying. I think retrospectively, everything in hindsight's easier, isn't it? But I think the right decision was made to play Neil. I genuinely think it was the right decision. I'm disappointed that, Key Ree, who was on earlier tonight, was really hopeful that Neil would have a career-defining game, or in his short career, he would really sort of stamp it and go, oh, hang on, that's his Tommy Hawkins moment from 2011. It wasn't meant to be. Very close a couple of times to clunking a few, but just, not quite. That's probably the story of his night. It was almost there, but not quite. Probably one moment where I felt like he could have got a free kick for a front-on contact, but didn't get it. It just, and sort of got the ball, fell under him a couple of times and just looked a bit like a newborn deer at some stage sometimes. It was just a shame. But I think I was sitting back watching the game and thinking, if we somehow sneak through, tell you what, I don't think he's done enough to stop the Hawkins talk.
I said the same. I was saying the same thing, Yanko. I'm like, he's almost playing himself out. He's almost doing a Mark Blake. Like from 2007. I'm like, when Stephen King was waiting, I was like, he's going to want to start moving because we're playing well and he's just not getting into it. Like,
how did the kids take the loss tonight?
Oh, shattered. Just absolutely. They were just there, just emotionally gone. Like I said, but Bianca made me smile when we were leaving. And she's just like, we just needed Aisling Maloney in our forward line. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. It was like the way that they think. I love it. Like,
that's the thing. It's just
things.
The good thing about footy these days is that you've got two teams. Well, you got four really if you follow the seconds, the reserves. You've got four teams that you can support, and you're going to have not every week every team's going to win. And we had some fun today watching the AFLW girls have a win, their first win for the season against Gold Coast. I don't know what happened with Gold Coast in the first half, but I thought, we're on today. We're off to a good start. Unfortunately, though, Meg, Mac, and the crew were flying and probably landed to see that the Cats lost. The men lost by 10 points or thereabouts. I actually walked past Brodie O'Rourke and Chantel Mason and Oscar Brownless walked past him at one point too. I didn't disturb them. I probably didn't want to. No one wanted to talk to me tonight after that loss. I'm not much fun. I'm not. It's strange because I'm doing this show in front of, I don't know how many people are watching live. About 48 people watching live at the moment. And probably about a couple of thousand will watch this before. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's like watching the replay. You don't want to know about it once it's done. So maybe no one will watch this come tomorrow morning. But I imagine a few people will want to sort of join in the misery a little bit. But yeah, look, it's a tricky one. This one, I mean, it's a tricky one to get over. I don't know how I'm going to get over this. Like I was saying to someone else earlier, I think I will watch the replay because I want to know. Not that it changes anything, but I want to know what went wrong. I don't want to point the finger at people. I don't think you can change things round one necessarily. And so, we're going to fix everything and we'll be back in a prelim a week later. It's not how it works. You've got to put in a whole bloody marathon worth of effort to get there again. There's no guarantees. Second last week in September.
Could we have also? I don't know if anyone's brought it up tonight. Did everyone forget about Sam DeConnie? Do you think he may have made any sort of a difference in the team?
Well, again, hindsight. Joe Danaher got moved into the ruck at one point, so it might have been a bit of surplus height unnecessarily. May not have needed it in the end. So it's hard to know, really. But look, I feel bad for him too. Just hearing all the talk this week that he's gettable. People should pick the phone up and talk to him. His brother, he used to support Carlton. His brother still plays there, and all that sort of stuff. So we'll probably lose someone in the off season. Happens most years, doesn't it? Hopefully you keep all the players you want to keep, and you add one or two. But sometimes it's a bit of give and take, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the Bulldogs will be happy. They got a pick earlier now for Bailey Smith.
That's true. Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Enjoy that pick.
They get 18.
Who's your pick for next week? Who do you think will win? Who do you want to win?
I think after today, I want Sydney to win. Yeah, I want Sydney. I don't have anything against Sydney. I've never had anything against Sydney. I haven't got anything bad to say about Sydney, actually. I'd almost call them almost like a second team. Wow. Just because, I've always had this story, actually. I hated what the AFL did when they took Gary Ablett from us. Like when they took him and pretty much gave him to Gold Coast. That's the way I see it. Pretty much, it's the way the story is, and Bomber Thompson has said it, that they were the reason that he went to Gold Coast. And I always loved when Sydney came and pinched Buddy Franklin from GWS and pretty much like rorted the AFL there. And I loved it, like the messages and the phone calls, the abusive phone calls that Sydney got for doing that. I really felt like happy about that. Like, yeah, stuff yous. Like, I'm glad they got one over you. So they almost in that moment like became a second team, because I was like, and also Tom Harley's there too. And I don't think really the only bad thing they've done was it Nick Davis like in that final.
Yes.
But so I got nothing, and they've been like easily, I think, other than dropping a couple of games, they've been the number one, the best team this year.
Well, Brisbane will think it's all about us. It's our redemption story. We just fell short last year. We had it at one. They were in the front at one point late in the game, weren't they? And then what's his name? DeGoey kicks a goal, and then still side bum. He kicks one of the great grand final goals of all time from 55, 60 metres out after a bit of a dubious 50-metre penalty. Let's be honest, but look, Brisbane will feel like they're the ones that they deserve this opportunity, that deserve the premiership. But then Sydney will go, well, we've lost 3 in a row. Or was it 4 in a row? I can't remember. Since they last won it in 2012, neutral fans will say, well, you've been in grand finals. Like, you've had too many grand finals. Go away. Brisbane hasn't been there since 2004. That's probably where my heart's at the moment. I'm still a bit bitter about the loss. I don't want good things to happen to Lockie Neal and Dane Zorko. Other than that, I think they're a good bunch of guys, the Brisbane boys. So I just don't like those two. For me, I want them to get it. I think that's probably good for the AFL if, on average, a team wins it every 18 to 20 years or thereabouts. Things are working pretty well if that happens. If we can't win it, that's always been my thing, that I want someone. I want the Weg post to look a bit different. I don't want to have another Swan there or another Collingwood or another Richmond. Or, Hawthorn. As long as we never see Hawthorn win another premiership again, I'll be very happy. I'm sure it'll happen eventually. Probably happen next year. Way things are going.
Yeah.
Oh, but everyone's all about Hawthorn because they jumped 10 spots on the ladder. There was another team that jumped 10 spots on the ladder. I can't remember who they were, but it was us. And
us. Finished top 4.
We had 1 foot in the grand final with 3 minutes to go tonight. 10 spots on the ladder, we climbed up.
That's what I want to talk about as well, that goal. Like, that moment when Ollie Henry kicked that goal, the MCG literally became GMHBA Stadium on steroids. It was insane. The blue and white just going up. I was like, oh, what? That was another moment I wanted to bottle up. Like, there was moments like that where, just with 3 minutes to go, I just thought, look, I don't know if it would have been in good shape next week, but who cares? Would have been good to celebrate it tonight. But
let's take a moment. Let's celebrate the good things from tonight, and one that hasn't been talked about. Well, maybe it has been talked about. I can't remember, but the Tom Stewart tackle in the defensive 50, the goal saving tackle there. That was incredible. That for me was, well, it wasn't up there with the number one, which I think most people will have a certain Lionel Messi as number one, maybe number one and number two.
Yeah.
That was huge. The Tom Stewart tackle. The Lionel Messi a goal assist. The assist king to Ollie Henry in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah.
Right. And what about
even
that one?
with the Dangerfield tackle as well? Like, is it just me or was that McCluggage? Did McCluggage not throw his head to the ground?
I think so.
Because I'm looking at that every time. He knew he was gone. And he was already pretty much looking at the umpire as his head hit the ground. And then he's gone to hold his head. As soon as he realized he got the free kick, yep, I'm up. I'm good. And I was just like, really? Because he was completely gone. Like, and it was his only way out was to slam his head into the ground. And it's like, geez, if you're going to keep rewarding that, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Hawkins, not Hawkins, I keep saying Hawkins. Dangerfield, like you can see the way he's tackled. He keeps letting go of each arm as he tackles him. The head still smacks the ground. Like, really?
Yeah.
But we'll see. Anyways, if he gets a week, either he gets a week or Brisbane, or
imagine that. Imagine if we make the granny and he got a week.
Do
you get suspended in prelims? How many players actually get suspended in a prelim?
Hey, the way I see it, he gets suspended, or you're gonna fine McCluggage for a staging.
One of the two. Go for it. Blitzarv's goal on the left foot. I like that one. You remember that one? Blitzarv's kicked the goal off his left foot. I think round the corner. I like that one.
Yeah,
that was good from him. Getting involved. That was very nice. A couple of nice things from Zach Guthrie. Some contested marks. Just needed to take these marks. He was pretty solid all night. It wasn't his best game of the season, but he was really good. He's probably in our best. For me, he was probably in our best 6 players for the night. I think he was terrific. It was tremendous all night long. The grind kick from the boundary. Clearly, that was awesome. Jezza around the corner. That was pretty good too. All the goals are great. I mean, I'm just trying to think of other moments in the games that didn't involve goals. Lots of heartbreaking moments, clearly. Some moments where Brisbane missed from point blank. That was great. I think Zach Bailey missed one from 20 metres out. I thought, this is just perfect.
Yeah.
Where to from here, though? Are you feeling good about next year? I know it's still raw, but Bailey Smith coming in.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. Will we improve? I'm not sure. It's very raw right now. Like, I don't think we're looking at our players like us. I don't think, obviously, Dangerfield's not going to improve. But I said this in the preseason. It's going to take the young players are going to have to stand up. We're going to need Tanner Bruin. We're going to need Holmes took a couple of massive steps this year, but it's going to be Bruin as well. I guess Jai Clark, hopefully. Like, he kind of disappeared, but so he's going to have to jump back up into the team. But because I think Mitch Duncan, I think I heard he's going to go on again next year. If he's in our starting 22 next year, I think we're in a bit of trouble. Like, I'm cool with him. I'm cool with them giving him another year because I think he's only a few games away from 300. I think he deserves the 300, but he shouldn't. I think I'd like him if he was going to go on another year. I'd like him to almost like take on like a coaching role as well, like a playing coaching role sort of thing, where it's like he shouldn't expect to just be in the team. Like, we want you around to mentor the younger players, but I don't think it's in our best interest that he's going to be like in our starting 22. And if he is, I don't think we're going to move forward.
Yeah. We'll you think Stanley does it one more year with Toby Conway, just some question marks on Toby and Mitch Edwards being really raw still?
If he's not, they've got to find someone. His body looks like it's gone, like Reece Stanley. Like we bashed Reece Stanley. He's our whipping boy, and we love him. We love giving it to him, but yeah, he has been a real soldier. Like you look, like he's copped a lot of crap, and he's been a premiership ruckman. He's almost like, if you're an NBA fan, it's like the Kendrick Perkins of our team. Like he was at the Boston Celtics when they had like Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and he was just that center that just played there and would get 2 points a game. Like he was just there. He just filled the role that we needed, and he won championships. Yep. Stanley's the player, but this year he looks like he's gone. The wheels have completely fallen off. His body's completely just gone. So they've got to find someone. There's got to be a ruckman out there, like that we can just bring in. Like if Sydney were able to go out and just get Grundy, like surely we can just find someone. Like come on, we've got Andrew Mackey. We've got Andrew Mackey and Stephen Wells. Like come on. Surely months ago you were talking to somebody. Like
what is it about ruckman that we just can't recruit them to the club?
And like look at like the ruckmen that have been around. Like I'm not saying they're superstars, but Goldstein like just didn't want to come to us, and then all of a sudden decides he wants to go play for Essendon. Like
Key reading the chat saying Ivan Soldo.
Yeah, I thought Soldo too. He actually
like calling Han Solo. Yeah,
he did some work on us earlier in the year, and then fell out with Port Adelaide. I think
he's not getting as much. Jordan Sweet was getting game time, wasn't he? Towards the end.
Sweet was in their team like last. So who else is there? Like, there's got to be someone. Let's like give us just something, a big body that can just be a little bit better than Reece Stanley. Just that's reliable.
I'll step away from rucks for a sec, but I'll rattle off a couple of names, and let me know whether you think they're going to go up another level. Not just a 5% improvement on this year, but like a big jump. If they're a category, if they're a B level sort of player, then they become an A level elite. Max Holmes, he's the obvious one. Start with him. Has he got a top 5 player in the league type trajectory?
I hope so. I'd almost gotten over his the soft tissue injuries that he was getting until tonight. They were almost already at the back of my mind, but they came back again today. I think that's the only thing that's going to hold him back is the soft tissue injuries. I think he's going to get a bigger frame. He's going to keep getting bigger. I'd love him to get the Dangerfield frame, but I'm not sure if that'll happen. But he's one absolutely. I think he'll be our best. I think he's almost already is our best player. I think by the end of the year he got there. I think he had pretty much like. So that was great. So yeah, I think the only thing's the injuries thing, but yeah, I think he can definitely go up.
What about a very young player? Lawson Humphreys, clearly we're all in love with him, but some players will come in and they'll hit the ground running, and they've almost reached their ceiling within 20 games, and they might gradually get a little bit better or whatever, but you're not going to see twofold improvement or whatever in the years to come. Has he got levels, do you think?
I hope so. Like, how many players have been able to do what he did this year? Like, and like even like it felt like the moment, like as the moment got the pressure got like increased, he actually got better. Like, I love seeing his bounces today. Like, he was just got so much confidence. So I hope he doesn't drop off. Jeez, I hope so. But we haven't seen enough of him. Like, he literally just came out of nowhere. So it's crazy. It's not like he's been on our list for 3 years and just this year has been the year that he's just got. He literally just walked into the team and was really pretty much one of the reasons that our VFL team finished top 4. And then they almost dropped off when he came to our AFL team. Like he was just good watching him in the VFL. He just looked like a class above. It was amazing. So he's just he's a freak. So yeah, it'd be amazing if he could improve. Like,
I'll throw two more at you. Just two more names. Again, if they got more than just that 5 or 10% improvement on this year, if they got a big leap, if they got levels, if we should say, of improvement in them, Tanner Bruin, what is he? Fourth year now. He's starting to come into his prime AFL years in the next couple.
I'm
getting a disappointing game today, if I'm honest. I don't want to pot too many players too hard. No. They're all hurting. We're hurting. Coaches are hurting. They gave it their best. It wasn't good enough. They'll know that. But I think he's one for me that I think can be a really good player. I don't think he'll be a top 20 player in the comp, but I think he'll be one of our better players in years to come.
I hope so, but I've had question marks like all year, because he's the one that I even said in the preseason that he was the one that had to take the biggest step. He had to be the one that was starting to get towards a 25 to 30 disposal a game sort of thing and become the leader. And it just he has points of the game where he just looks amazing. He'll just do something. It's just like, oh, if he could do that for a whole game, just like, but then he'll just disappear. And it's like he almost starts to remind me of Brandon Parfitt. Whereas really? I hope that's not where it goes. Like I want him to become that superstar. I want him to come up with Max Holmes and just be that, like what Sydney have with Heaney and their midfield. I feel like that could be us. That could be us. They could be two of the tiles in our team, but Max Holmes took that step this year. Tanner Bruin just seems like he's just still there, and I think it's going to be a big preseason for him. I don't remember. Is he? Maybe he's only 21, so maybe I'm being a bit harsh. No, but he's young. But he's got a big 24 months, I think, like coming up. Where I want to. He needs to be. If we're going to go somewhere, he's got to be the one now. You know, I said that in the preseason as well, and I say it now. Like, he's vital. Like, because we're going to get Bailey Smith, and Bailey Smith's not going to be the player that he's not going to be the Dangerfield. Like when we got Dangerfield from Adelaide, Dangerfield just came in and just changed our team. Like he just became like that's an anomaly. Like, and Bailey Smith's not going to be that player. He's going to come in and help. But I hope that Tanner like comes up with him, and like those three, like those are the three. It'd be amazing to have Smith, Bruin, and Holmes in a midfield, and then it'd be good to have Dangerfield starting forward and pinch hitting in the midfield. Like I feel like that could be a winner.
I don't know. I think with Danger, I think it'll be like Hawkins. And I'll quickly move on from this, but I just wanted to say, I think with Danger, I think the end will come real fast. And it'll be sad when it happens, because I think his strengths when they go, he's going to struggle.
I think he's going to get the 2. Well, it sounds like he's going to get the 2-year extension.
I think he will. I was probably thinking maybe 1 year would be probably just right. I don't want to see him go the way Tommy. I didn't want to see Tommy go out this way. One more name I was going to throw at you, and it's probably the most obvious one. It's always about the big forwards, isn't it? It's Shannon Neal. We all want him to become the next Tom Hawkins. We all wanted, Kent Kingsley to be the next Gary Ablett Senior. Brett Spinks, all that. It's a lot of pressure for a young guy, and Jez is not getting better, and Jez is probably plateaued, and that's a pretty high plateau, mind you. Yeah. But Jez is not improving year on year at this point. So there'll be a lot of eyeballs looking at Shannon Neal, expecting him to start kicking 4 or 5 goals, clunking everything that comes his way, whether it's a sunny day in September or if it's raining in June. I feel for the guy, because I feel like he's probably we're gonna have to be very patient with Shannon. It's not gonna be Tom Hawkins kicking 800 goals in 350 odd games. It's gonna be a lesser version of that. But he's just if he can play a role and do some good things for the club, I'll be happy with that. If he does what he needs to do, Reece Stanley levels of expectation, which is just do enough, just be reliable.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me. You're gonna have to find. It's pretty hard to find really gun forwards. We've been pretty lucky when we got Jezza and Hawkins at their peak powers.
Yeah.
Where do you see Shannon though? Can you see Shannon becoming an absolute monster and being one of those dominant forwards in the AFL, or do you feel like he's gonna really struggle with the some elements of his game?
I think he's so. How old is he? 24 right now.
See if I can pull up his bio. He's 22 right now.
Oh, he's only 22.
Yep.
Oh, okay. No, that's all right. It feels like he's been on our list for so long. So if he's only 22, okay, then that changes things a little bit. I thought he was a bit older. Oh no, then he's showing the glimpses. I feel like we're still just waiting for that breakout, like where he just like, because he's got all the tools you need. Like he's really mobile. He can take a mark. We've seen it, but just doesn't do it enough. He can kick straight too, at times, like when his confidence is up. So he has everything you need, but he's just got to do what I was saying as well with Tanner Bruin. He's got to be they're the players that are going to do it. If we're going to go to the next step, it's not going to be the veterans, I don't think, that are going to do it. It's going to be those players. And so he's only 20. Okay, he's only 22. I thought he was 24. So he's got time.
He's the forwards cop the most heat though. I mean, they cop a lot of heat. If they're not kicking 4 or 5 goals,
yep.
And when they do, they get all the love too. They get all the love.
We thought of Saba Radicalea. There were times when we thought he was going to be our superstar forward, and then we had to move him defence. Like it's a hard position. Hawkins was the one that, man, there were times when the supporters and everyone thought we were going to trade him, and even I think he thought he was going to get traded as well. It's such a hard position, but then once you get that confidence and you break through, and it's a beautiful thing. And I hope he deserves it. I think Shannon Neal, I hope he does, because he's stuck with us for a long time, and he did the apprenticeship, and they stuck with him tonight as well. So I hope he has a massive preseason and just uses it. I hope that tonight's loss wasn't in vain. I hope he uses it in the preseason. He comes out round 1 next year like an absolute beast. He has all the tools. He's got he's a bit of a looks like a freak athlete, but it's just going to be, I think, on him.
He definitely got all the tools. I think just game awareness, game sense, it's still a work in progress. I hope my hope for him is that yes, he's 22, but I hope this loss tonight really burns for him, that he feels like he was a big part of the reason why we didn't win. And that's not a shot at him. I'm not trying to have a shot at him. I'm hoping that he takes that away and it really burns over summer. And he really uses that to work on his game, to sort of take on more of responsibility next year. I hope all the players do, really. I don't want them to sort of go, where were you, Paddy? Where were you, Jez? Guys, it's the 20-year-olds now. This is your team. Max Home. It's led by Max Home. Let's be honest. It's probably him leading this team in the next few years when Dangerfield's had enough. Tom Stewart might have to miss his opportunity as being a captain, maybe, but Max Holmes is going to be the man, and Tanner Bruin, as you and I hope, he steps up and becomes that second or third best midfielder, and Bailey Smith, the injuries are behind him, all that sort of stuff. There's all these things we hope for, but as I said a couple of times tonight, you lose a game, you're not back here for 12 months, and there's no guarantee you're back here.
Nope.
You don't hit the finish line. You don't get to an end of a marathon, 100 meters to go, and you just don't just turn up at that point. You've got to put the effort in, and it's bloody hard. and there's no promise that you win it. It's a really hard loss to take, this one. But they all are, and everyone's in the same team. Everyone's in the same boat. They all are.
Yeah. I remember as well, like one of my. It's not often that losses will be in your favorite games to watch. In fact, it's barely ever. But one of my favorite games that I ever attended was the prelim in 2004 when we played Brisbane. I've said this a few times. I can watch that game over and over and over again because it was really like we weren't supposed to win. We had a really young team. We had Bartel, Ablett, James Kelly, Joel Correa, and we were going against Ackermanis, Black, and I can watch those games. And the thing, we saw what it led to. We saw Ablett, we saw Kelly, we saw Bartel. They took the next step when they lost, and I hope that happens tonight. I hope tonight's the first step with those players like Tanner Bruin and Shannon Neal, because it happened with those players. The players, they took a couple of years. They took over the team from who else was in that team? Like Ben Graham, Ken Kingsley was in there.
Sanderson, maybe.
And it worked, And then like we got Brad Ottens the next year. Like he wanted to come to Geelong all of a sudden after we had so many players not want to come to us. I hope that happened tonight. I hope there's some of those players that they got the message, like, and they use it, like.
And your older guys are going to have to take a back seat. I mean, that's what had to happen with Selwood in 2022. It was like, it's still his team, but he doesn't win a fourth premiership if those younger guys don't stand up around him. Everyone had to play a role. Tom Atkins, he came from nowhere. All those guys, and it's this next generation. There's probably some guys right now in the VFL who are watching on tonight didn't get a game. Probably a good opportunity for me to say for any of those VFL boys that won't be with us probably into the end of this week, they'll probably get told that they're not welcome next year. It's a really tough time for those guys and for the AFLW girls as well when it's time for them to say farewell. But yeah, you got to say goodbye sometimes. But hopefully those guys that are hanging around, that whether you played tonight, whether you're a young player tonight that didn't quite put it all together, or whether you didn't get your opportunity. Sam DeConning's one that's sitting back watching. Maybe he'll go away and be grumpy about it. They didn't pick me, poor me, which is what he sometimes looks like from the outside looking in. It's a bit of poor me sort of stuff. I can't believe that happened. I hope he takes the right attitude towards missing out this September and really makes a good go of it. And has a bit of a luck with injuries and all that sort of stuff that goes into winning games. We hope.
I hope we keep Mitch Nevitt as well. He's the type of name that I could see us all of a sudden. You just hear, he has not been offered a new contract, and it's like, oh crap. Just he's that name that I could just see, like, oh, okay then, yikes.
I can see him leaving off his own choice, or being part of a trade somewhere with maybe the Bailey Smith situation or whoever else. I could say, not that I want to get rid of him, because I think I didn't want to get rid of Cooper Stevens either, but his career hasn't panned out the way he hoped. But at Hawthorn, after we had to part ways with him to get Jezza, I think it was Jezza, wasn't it? Oh, could be. I can't remember now. Isaac Smith, maybe. Might have been Isaac Smith.
No, it was Ollie Henry.
Ollie Henry, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they traded the they got the pick from Hawthorn to give to Tom Mitchell. So it was a three-way. Tom Mitchell went to Collingwood. Yep. Ollie came to us, and they got Cooper Stevens. So that worked out well for us.
All right. Let's get you 3-2-1s, and then I'll finish the show with a bit of a rant from Lucas. I saved you to the end, Lucas, because everyone's trying to be positive, but you're welcome to go your hardest at the end, Lucas. 3-2-1s from you, Brendan.
I'll go.
She's giving you hers.
She's out. She's asleep. Go on. I'll go one. Zach Guthrie. This is just off my head. I don't even know the stats. I'm just going off. I thought Zach Guthrie was really good in the back line. Just stood out, I thought, as a defender. 2. Jeez, I'll give it. He only played half a game, but I really love Max Holmes' first half. I think that he was almost the reason that we were winning. So I'll just go 2, and I'll go Ollie Henry 3, just because like far out. That miss in the first quarter almost doesn't warrant the 3, but he redeemed himself. He was pretty good. He was really good tonight. Like, I love his passion when he kicks a goal. You can tell he just loves being in the hoops, and just like it's infectious. That feeling, I love it. That he gets to the crowd and just like gets them up. I love that. So I hope he's another player. I hope takes it over the preseason and just like keeps improving. So, because he could be anything. He could be a player. I keep saying it. He could be a player that brings the crowd into the stadiums. Like, he's got that talent, but he's got to improve as well.
He does, and he's hopefully he's figuring out when to go and when not to go. I think Gary Rowan developed that late in his career, didn't he? Around just being he became a really smart footballer. He's still with us, Gary Rowan, but he's knows his body. He knows when to try and go for the hanger and when to stay down low or when to use his teammates and all that sort of stuff. I think Ollie Henry's still figuring that stuff out, to be fair. He looks spectacular at times. Other times he looks like, mate, what did you do that for? How'd you miss that? Or why didn't you give that handball? Or why'd you just go for the mark of the year every single time? Like, I think I think that's where we'll see some improvement there. I don't think it'll be a massive jump, but I think gradually year on year, I think we'll start seeing a lot more of that football IQ starting to appear with him.
The other player that could become a superstar that we forgot is Ollie Dempsey. We forgot him because Quiet night tonight. He could legit be anything. He could be the best of all of our players, because he literally came from nowhere as well. I think a rookie listed. Was he rookie listed, I think, or something? He's got that natural talent that, if he takes on, gets the message from tonight, like, he could be another player too that becomes a genuine A-grader.
I don't know if I agree, but I think he's definitely got a lot of improvement left in him. I don't think we've seen anywhere near his ceiling. I think of A-graders as being like best 15 players in the comp. I don't feel like he'll get to that. I hope he does. I really do. We'll see. I can't wait. I'm already looking forward to the draft, trade period, preseason, round 1. Bring it on. Yes, it's a long road, but bring it on anyway. And before you go, can I just thank you as well and the kids? And I've really enjoyed having you on. I you might think I'm joking about it, but I know the people that watch this show just love you guys when you come on. So thank you for keeping Bianca up late sometimes, because she's lots of fun, and we hope we can do more things with you next year as well. So
thanks for having us. Actually, no, it's been great for Bianca as well. I don't know, like in the preseason when we did that first interview, like how quiet she sort of was, and you just saw every week she just came more out of her shell, to the point where she's writing notes to bring to the table. She's like, I gotta have my votes done. I gotta say this. I gotta do this. Yep, I saw this today. Like, it's amazing what 12 months can do, and she can't wait. She absolutely loves it. Like, unfortunately, it was a bit late tonight, and she absolutely just crashed because it was a long walk from the MCG to North Melbourne. Like, so, thank you very much for having us, and I hope we're back. It'd be
Definitely. So thank you to everyone. And we'll definitely get you back. I'll be in touch. Now, I usually give our show a bit of a plug, but I want to just give shout out to Bianca. Make sure you check out your Instagram. Bianca's always doing her interviews with the AFLW players. Is always doing vlogs of the game and stuff like that. So check that out. It's always lots of fun. I did watch the other one where Prisparkas was signing her cards and Bianca was just going off her head. She pulled a card. I can't remember what it was, but that's great. That's the kind of stuff I love. Just the real fans just at the game, just enjoying it and seeing the interaction with the players. It's great to see it.
I will say, if there's going to be an AFLW game that everyone wants to get to, I can't give details or anything, but the Geelong Fremantle game coming up in a few weeks. I can't say anything right now. You're probably going to want to be there for that game. That's all I can say right now, because I know Bianca's going to watch this back. I can't give details, but yeah, that's going to be the game that people are probably going to want to go to.
Interesting.
That's all I can say, yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, mate, thank you. Recover from this. We'll go again next year.
Go next year. Yeah.
Go Cats.
Okay.
All right, Lucas, if you're still with us, turn your camera on and I'll get you up. There you go. So, hello. How are you
How are we doing? Pretty fucking shit. Devastated, upset, everything. Yeah, just can't believe that happened in the third quarter again. That's all. This loss is all on Chris Scott.
In what way?
All year I've been saying, when the going gets tough, Carlton, St Kilda, Gold Coast, you don't have a plan B. What happens this game? No plan B. How can you take 8 fucking minutes to make a decision on Max Holmes? All I saw on the TV was him on the phone for 8 minutes. Mate, make a fucking decision. Do you not see them kick 3 goals in those 8 minutes? Either you were too stubborn to make the change, or you had too many fucking ideas in your head and you didn't know what to do. All right, now let's go further. Let's go to the fourth quarter when Ollie Henry kicks that goal, right? We get in front. What do we do with our centre bouncers? As soon as he kicks that goal, Ollie Henry, I'm thinking Tom Stewart in there now. It's Tom Stewart right in there. And you put in Mitch Duncan. Mitch Duncan. What does Mitch Duncan do? Turns it over to Ashcroft.
Yeah, I think the coaches will be just like the players, mate. They'll be probably kicking themselves with some poor match day decisions, and maybe some decisions made in the lead up to the game that even Chris Scott in his presser tonight was still not sure if he made the right call on not picking Tui, and I'm not sure if he feels the same way about not picking Sam DeConning. But what were your thoughts on those decisions?
I tell you what. I was fine with those.
Okay.
But after the game with Shannon Neal, he was as useless as a Stephen Hawkins treadmill. Absolute terrible. Couldn't do a thing. I get it, he's on a double AA player in Harris Andrews. I get that. But Stanley looked more dangerous leading out than Neal. Every time the ball got in, he was behind. Now, I said in the Richmond game a month ago that he was guilty of that. And he was guilty of it again. Leading right back, not leading up forward, getting caught multiple times. Sometimes Harris Andrews wasn't even on him and he was getting outmarked by Starcevic. Again, he's an A-grade defender, but still, you're not leading out. And I look at this match and I think, Tom Hawkins, you might as well have put Tom Hawkins in. And that's a contradiction of myself all season, because I said Tom Hawkins should never play again this season. After seeing, in hindsight, if I knew Shannon Neal was going to bring that, I might as well have put in Tom Hawkins. It was diabolical, that third quarter. And again, it came from nowhere, because I was thinking second half, I said to you in the comments, win the inside battle. That second quarter, we did. I thought we did. And we're up by 20 points, and I thought we're going to kick away here. But I'm stupid. I'm an absolute dickhead, because I didn't even know. I didn't know this would come, because the Port game, the third quarter, I thought, I just hope we don't have another third quarter fade out, and then we didn't. This didn't cross my mind. This third quarter fade out did not cross my mind, and look where we are. It came, and we did not a thing about it. Max Holmes should have been off within 3 minutes. He was clearly not right. We wasted 8 minutes. They kicked 3 goals in 8 minutes. And Chris Scott, A, didn't make a decision, and B, when they were walking it through the midfield, didn't put Tom Stewart in there. 2 mental errors. That was today's game. 2 many mental errors. Jeremy Cameron, this was the first time I thought, I'm done with this guy. I'm done. I want him out. First time.
What do you mean out? What do you mean out?
I mean out. I was prepared to sub him off.
Tactical sub.
How can you be so good in one half and non-existent in the second half? And I've said this all season about Jeremy Cameron. He does your head in. You do not know what you're going to get from this guy. If you said to me you're going to get his best the whole season, you kick 100 goals. Kick 100 goals. His worst is shambolic. There's two. I get it. Players have bad games. That's fine. I get that. But when he has a bad game, he has an absolute horrific game. Look at Tom Stewart when he went back in defense. Both didn't even go up. Both mental errors. Horrible. He was shambolic. Stengun had a horrible game. You know, missed his bananas or snaps around the corner like he usually does. Mena, horrific game. Have you, I'm not trying to be smart here, but do you know what a handball is, mate? Stengel on your left-hand side. Stengel right there. Handball it to him.
Yeah, should have handballed it there.
And the second thing, do you know what a drop punt is? If you're going to burn Stengel, which is fine, what the hell was that? A dribble kick when there's a Brisbane Lion player right there? Are you serious? Another mental error. There were so many mental errors in this game. And I didn't see it coming. Like I said, I'm an idiot. I did not see this coming because we're up by 20 points. We're cruising, motoring along. I thought Brisbane are done. They're not gonna do what they did against the Giants. They're done. They played their grand final just like Port Adelaide played their grand final last week. And then we just killed ourselves with bad coaching, bad mental errors. And this is the one where it got away. Not so much as a premiership got away, but the grand final appearance got away. This is going to hurt for a long time. It's going to hurt for a really, really long time. People say I'm too negative or whatnot, but I'm fucking emotional too. I get upset about it too. I was in tears after that siren. I couldn't even watch the last 10 fucking seconds because my hands was in my head. So I don't want people saying to me, but I'm too negative. I'm emotional just like you. And that was devastating. That was so fucking devastating. And I'm always, until we play Brisbane again in a knockout final, that's always going to be over me, just like Hawthorn 08. Till we play them again in a grand final, it's always going to hold over us. Right? Richmond different, Sydney different because Nick Davis. This stings, mate. This really fucking hurts. Hurts.
I walked past on my way out of the stadium tonight. Also, not on my way out, on my way up the stairs towards leaving my seat. Walked up the stairs past a Geelong player that looked very much like you do now. Didn't have the Emperor Palpatine sort of look going on from Star Wars, but he was devastated. He was absolutely devastated, and he was head in his hands. And I just patted him on the shoulder and I said, "Mate, it hurts, but that's footy."
You can say we'll be back next year, and of course we will. But this still hurts. This was in our grasp. We just had to play 4 quarters, and we didn't. This is why I'm upset, because we've lost the same way like we did St Kilda, Carlton, Gold Coast, and we did nothing to stop it. Nothing. It's just, and as you can see, I get emotional as well in different ways. People get emotional in different ways, and I said I'm not a Chris Scott guy out. Never have been, never will be. But he made a horrible error tonight with Max Holmes and Tom Stewart not putting him in the middle. 2 minutes to go. Ollie Henry, kicks that amazing goal. He was best on ground in my opinion. This was a breakout game for Ollie Henry. I wish he would have scored that first goal in the first 5 minutes where he missed that shocker. But that was still a breakout. I think this was Ollie Henry's best game, in my opinion, because it's a final, prelim final.
Yeah.
Most on the line. You're playing in a grand final. I know he's probably kicked more goals in other games, but I thought as far as big game performances, this was his best performance. And you just put Mitch Duncan in the centre square bounce, Mitch Duncan, not Tom Stewart. And you look back and you think, what are you doing, man? What goes through your mind when you've done it before in the past and it's worked? And every time Tom Stewart seems to go in that middle, he does something. Whether it's a little clearance, a little tap, bursts out the centre, makes a tackle, he always does something. We missed that horribly tonight. Horribly, especially when Neil last week was poor. He's injured. He's getting shots before game. He's not at his best. He looked like a world beater tonight, and that's no disrespect. He's on his day. He's a world beater. He's a top 5 player on his day. But this was, I didn't see this coming from Neil, because we just let him do what he wanted in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter, and we couldn't stop it. We just could not stop it. That's the most frustrating thing, and just couldn't watch after the centre bounce and they kicked the goal. I just couldn't watch anymore. I walked off. I walked away. Didn't watch it. Didn't want to know about it. I missed the Stanley moment at the end because I didn't watch.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it was just too much. Just too much emotion. Just didn't want to know about it. On Stanley, I thought he was a better forward than Neil. I thought he just couldn't mark it. I thought he had chances of marking inside 50, especially late in the fourth quarter. But I feel bad for Tom Hawkins. Channel 7 repeatedly showing him in the stands, especially in that fourth quarter. I thought that was a little disrespectful, because he doesn't deserve to go out that way. And I know I said early in the year he shouldn't play for the rest of the season again. I stand by that, but I think he could have done no worse today, from what I saw from Neil. And we gave Hawkins every chance. We gave him that VFL game, and he wasn't up to it in that VFL game, sadly. But just this is a tough loss, mate. This really is tough to. And I don't want to swear and yell and just go absolutely bonkers and just go off the top rope. Probably already have apologies up front, but this is a tough loss, mate. It's just very hard.
I appreciate you sharing your emotions, mate. I mean, I think a lot of Cats fans are feeling all different types of emotions at the moment. Some of us are distraught, teary. Some of us are angry. Some of us are full of pride, to be honest. I don't think anyone should feel bad for how they're feeling or judge other people for how they're feeling as well. Like, I feel like I'm a rainbow of emotions. I feel everything. I feel everything from, as I said, pride to just pure disgust at the performance. But I'm also understanding, and I've never played. I've had footy as a junior, but I get it. It's a totally different thing when you're out there. And I shouldn't probably compare it to someone shooting guns at you or whatever, but I mean, trying to make decisions when you're absolutely under the heat of a prelim final, to make clear decisions, think with your head, make the right call at all times. It's not easy, but you've seen this Geelong team in the past rise to that pressure, rise to the occasion. Sadly tonight, for probably 2.5 quarters, even though we led for most of this game, most of that was down to a really impressive second quarter. But sadly, we just weren't up to it tonight. In many ways.
We weren't. And again, Brisbane. I don't want to be disrespectful to them. They did what they had to do. I think we choked more than they won it, in my opinion. But they're in the grand final for a reason. And they deserve a lot of credit for that. But
it's probably this 2008 grand final loss. This one, that's probably.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Brisbane don't deserve it, but I feel like this is the one that got away.
Yeah, I look. Whether we beat Sydney next week, I feel with Sydney, they're more like us, what we were in 2022. I think if we made the grand final, I think we'd be in a position next week to say, well, we played our grand final against Brisbane. I think they probably potentially would have towed us up, in my opinion. I think they'll do that to Brisbane. I think it won't be close. I think Sydney will win by 40, 50 points. Because I think there's just too many similarities to us in 2022. And to get back how they did it after getting absolutely smashed by us in that grand final, they've recovered really quickly, where other teams we've seen in the past don't so much do that when they get blown out in grand finals. Crows, Port Adelaide, Western Bulldogs, GWS. So I think they are similar to us in 2022, and I think as much as we would be in another grand final, I'd feel a little bit better about this loss if Sydney did do that to Brisbane, because you can sit back and say, well, at least that's not us. So at least, but having said that, if Brisbane win and then Sydney have an absolute shocker, I think we're going to get even probably more angry and more emotional. But this was the grand final appearance that got away. This, you beat Port Adelaide and Adelaide, which could have been 100 points kick straight. You're on cloud 9. You get a week off. And to credit, we started really well. Just couldn't put it on the board. We started really well. So it wasn't that, you've had 2 buys and you've only played 2 games in 40 days or some nonsense. We started really well. Sydney did that last night as well, so there wasn't a problem there. It was just the mental errors that we conceded, just mental errors. I thought, first half, first quarter, all those set shot misses, mental. And then we picked up the gas second quarter, and just I honestly thought we're going to be another grand final after half time. I just thought there's no, because I didn't think of a third quarter fade out. I didn't think of it because we didn't do that against Port. And I looked stupid, probably too late, probably already have 100 times a year, crying and carrying on. But I didn't think of that third quarter we'd do that again. And it was just a huge collapse by Chris Scott, who I admire. I don't want him to coach anywhere else, in my opinion. One day he will leave, but as long as he's around this list, I want him coaching this list. But on another side of it, I said last week it should be in Geelong. Should be played in Geelong. Well, and everybody said, we play well, and I got smashed. This exempts Kyrie and Gary and some regulars that I know. But I got smashed for saying that it should be in Geelong. Well, they're looking probably just as stupid as me right now, because I think it should have honestly played in Geelong. Everyone's saying, well, Brisbane's record in the MCG isn't good, but they haven't bet us in Geelong in 20 years. So, but having said that, that I said it's just mental, and I think we would have capitulated like that if it was played in Geelong, China, Antarctica, Mars, anywhere. And that's the most devastating thing, is that
Planet Mars,
we're in this
Mars Stadium.
The planet Mars, the red planet Mars. Mind you would have to be in Mars to play up there in that stadium. God knows why the Bulldogs play it there. At least Bailey Smith won't have to worry about that next year. But just the way it happened again, after I've been saying all year, when we lose this way, the coach does nothing, and he did nothing. But Heinz, again, other side of the coin, no one predicted us to play in a prelim. In some ways, we overachieved. There's people saying shit about us, saying, maybe you'll get in the 8, you'll get enough games in Geelong, you'll sneak in the 8 maybe. And to win a final away from home and make a prelim, I think that's a hell of an achievement. But the way we lost today, that I'm disgusted. I think the word you put is devastated. Just devastated by this loss because we lost the same way again. But as far as players retiring, Duncan, Stanley, Tui, I hope, you know, they've had good careers, but I don't want to see him next year. I don't really want to see him. Stanley, I didn't see what happened at the end with Stanley, but he got outworked by Danaher. Come on, Danaher. Out of all people, Danaher. And that's no disrespect to Joe. You know, we've seen last week in that last quarter against GWS, he turned it on. But I thought Joe Danaher didn't kick any goals. Scoreboard, he wasn't impactful, but he towed up Reece all around the ground. And as a premier ruckman, which Stanley is, I think that was just for me. I thought that's him done. You have to either play Conway round one, or you bring in a ruckman from another team or preseason or VFL. GWS just got rid of their ruckman, delisted Bruce. So that could be an option. He'll cost absolutely nothing. I think that could be an option, in my opinion. But it's all sinking in. It's gone from upset devastation to just generally just gutted. I just can't believe that's happened. And later down the track, acceptance. You just got to accept it. Grand final, probably don't care, but again, I'm probably too emotional. Probably won't watch it. Well, actually, I won't watch it because I start my cricket season Saturday. So I was actually going to fake an injury. I shouldn't say that, but I was going to fake an injury to watch Geelong. Don't think I'll be doing that for these two clubs, but
well, they did break your heart.
Yeah,
broke at least.
Yeah, that's the key word, Ben. The title is Lucas. This game broke me. I think that'd be very appropriate. So, but not going to watch the grand final. Obviously, I said Sydney will win by probably 40, 50 points. It's their year. They've got the vibes of 2022 Geelong, but I'm broken, upset, and just the way it is, unfortunately. And I'd like to thank you, Ben, and Paul, and the rest of the Cats community on this channel for putting up with my antics. I was actually, if we would have won, I was tempted to go nude. Not like that, but yeah, bit of the OnlyFans style, but with my Geelong scarf. But no, we didn't get there. I'm glad I can joke about that. We didn't get there because I said when we bet Port, I'd do I'd go on the Don Bradman statue with my jocks off and sing the Geelong song. And the amount of text messages I got from Soccer officials, because I said that on 5AA radio. The amount of text messages that I got from Soccer officials saying if you do that, you'll never play district cricket again. So that threatened the hell out of me. So no, I didn't do that either. So, but probably no one wants to see that. But anyway, it's been a good ride, Ben, and to you and Paul, the Cats community, thank you so much for putting up with me. And I still haven't found what I'm looking for, which was the Geelong Premiership. But thank you anyway, and really do appreciate it, Ben. Thank you so much.
Before you go, thank you to you as well, mate. You're not everyone's cup of tea. Let's just put it out there. I've said it many times on this show before. I want all types of people, all types of fans to be on this program. And, you're not always going to agree with the eternal optimists that are out there. You're going to shake your head and probably going to stop watching if someone comes on and be a bit negative. But I think it's important that we hear from everyone and hear all the different perspectives. You'll come on round one after a Cats have had a 50-point win, you'll be glowing. And Chris Scott's amazing, and that's just how it is. And I'm definitely a roller coaster type of fan. I'm probably getting a bit more level headed as I get on in age, but
Yeah.
But look, mate, thank you for everything this year. It's not. I mean, we'll still be putting stuff out. We'll probably do more live shows as well. We've got the Hoopies coming up, and the Hoopies Awards night coming up in a week and a bit. That'll be fun. We might even see how we go with the Brownlow. We might try and do something for that if we can as well. A bit of a watch along. So there'll be all of that. Look, don't feel bad, mate. As I said, don't feel bad about showing your emotions. It's a human thing. It's important to be in touch with that sort of stuff. But I'll leave it on. I'll leave you with a positive note, mate. I can promise you 100% that this football club will bring you some wonderful memories in the years to come. You are gonna. But it's tough. It's tough now, and it's tough to hear it right now. But we've got a great club, and regardless of whether we have some rough years, footy's great. Footy's a fantastic game, and there's many more joyful, wonderful times ahead. So feel those emotions now. Don't hide away from them. Just be in the moment if that's where you need to be. But don't worry. Next year you'll be here before we know it, and we'll be back having a bit of fun again, watching the kids.
Absolutely. And just before I head off, I just want to shout out to Kingy. Rest up, mate. Hope you do well. I also want to have a shout out to one of my former friends that did content with your channel, Mel Cats. I know she would have been watching today. So rest in peace for her. She probably wouldn't have enjoyed the result, but she'll be missed, and definitely by me. And she would have probably not liked this game, but just a shout out to her, and thank you so much to you once again, Ben. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. Footy gets us sometimes, doesn't it, everyone? It's tough, especially when you lose some good people that we all know on Twitter. And but look, it's a game, and I've said it. Lucas just said it about Stephen King. That's clearly affected some players and coaches at the club as well. Go easy on them if you can in the days that follow on socials and all that sort of stuff. Just imagine if your workmate nearly passed out at work and had to be taken away by a paramedic. You'd be feeling a bit all over the shop as well. So considering all of that, the Cats got within a whisker, pun intended, of making another grand final. They've done pretty well considering everything. So yeah. Thank you, everyone, for watching. As always, I really appreciate it. Thank you to Cyril Cook, the sponsor of the Hoops crew this year and into next year as well. I hope you enjoyed the little therapy session that we had today. Thank you to all our guests that come on. We're not going to stop doing post-game live. We'll be doing it next year as well. Shout out to everyone on the chat that I haven't had an opportunity to sort of talk about yet. I'll probably need to get to bed pretty soon, but we'll be back on again. So hopefully you'll jump on some other live shows that we'll do. We'll try and do some Q&As and some other things as well. But look, it's a tough loss, Cats. I don't imagine they will be watching, and if they are watching, 2 hour and 23-minute mark. If I could say this directly to the football club, to the players, it hurts. But we'll go again next year.